Hello everyone. So, I've made many videos talking about and advertising my comic book. Of course, I've been working on the comic book for about a year and a half now. Scripting it, doing the character design, creating the backgrounds, and the one thing I can say is I've learned quite a lot. And the comic book is going to be a series. Of course, right now I'm working on chapter 1. Then when I finish chapter 1, I'm going to move on to chapter 2. And my plan is to do about 100 pages of my comic book and release them in chapters. It just makes it easier and allows me to be able to complete it. As many people say, making a comic book isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. And I want to explain what this story is about, seeing as I'm so close. I have about 4 more pages to complete. I'm currently working on one of them, meaning I have 4 pages I need to completely finish, and I'm getting so much more closer. And of course, there's some stuff going on in, my life where, we need to move. So that is kind of slowing down the process of making a comic book. But the one thing I can guarantee is I'm so much more closer to completing it. And what the comic book is about, it's an action thriller story. The entire story is based in the end of the world, or the beginning of the end of the world. Chapter 1 is. It's based at the beginning of the end of the world, and you meet two characters, a police officer and a convicted criminal. They both end up teaming together to survive what is happening. And my plan is with chapter 2, you really understand why the end of the world happened. Of course, I'm not going to say anything about that regard, but the one thing I can say is chapter 2 is going to go more in depth of why it's happening. But chapter 1 is about the world and what is happening in the world and the beginning of the end, basically, or somewhat like that. But the comic book is more for, I would say, people who like action stories. It's for people who do like post-apocalyptic type of genres, and the entire creation of the comic book was based off of all the things I enjoyed in media. I love the end of the world. I've always loved zombie apocalypse movies. They're just so entertaining and so interesting, and how people, survive and prioritize decisions. And it's also based off of survival. So all those things that I do quite like in many genres combined together. The one quote I have heard is, make a comic book based off of all the things you find cool and all the things you enjoy creating. So with that, I, put it all together and made this comic book. Of course, not everyone will like it. I know that, but I know many people who are into the same genre as me, zombie apocalypse, end of the world type of stuff, may like it. And I'm really excited to complete the comic book quite soon, and hopefully it becomes big. And the one thing I want to quickly say is, if anyone's still interested in pre-ordering, the one thing you will get is, one, the limited edition cover with the comic book. So it's basically the comic book with the limited edition cover on top, and I'm going to sign it. So when the franchise becomes big, or not, I'm not really too sure, but I'm hoping it becomes really big, you will have a signed copy with the limited edition cover. And I'm really excited to complete it. I'm near the goal, and hopefully I complete it in time. Hopefully you guys are excited to see the comic book, and when I do finish the pages, I will announce it. But when I do finish the pages, I'm going to start doing the cover art, all that type of stuff, and hopefully you guys are excited.